are being silenced. One was off the glove of Demko, the other missed the net. Now McKinnon to the side.
What's up, Canuck fans? Welcome to the Line Change, a Vancouver Canucks podcast, which is a presentation of DraftKings Sportsbook, as well as a proud member of the Hockey Podcast Network. Vancouver Canucks are officially in the cellar, and they're selling. We're talking about trades for Evander Kane, Teddy Bluger, and David Kampf, their three remaining pending UFAs. But let's be honest, after having already moved Quinn Hughes and Kiefer Sherwood, the biggest problem is this. Most of the pieces they're selling are only going to net a third rounder at best. It's a bit of a stretch if they get anything better than a third round pick for their three pending UFAs. Unless Patrick Allvin starts moving core assets like Elias Pettersson or Connor Garland, the cupboard is going to stay bare. But what if there was an outside the box move that would allow the Canucks to cash in not once, not twice, but potentially 3 times on one series of transactions? Today, we're talking about the art of the flippable cap dump and the 10 players the Canucks need to target right now to accelerate this rebuild. A rebuild is about thinking indirectly. A flippable cap dump is a player another team will pay you to take, but who still has enough value left that you can sell them later on. Here's a 3-step profit plan for the Vancouver Canucks. Profit number 1, the initial asset, they trade a current veteran, like, for example, Evander Kane, for a draft pick or a prospect. Profit number 2, the cap dump return. They use that newly open roster spot to accept a bad contract, taking on a player and getting another pick or prospect to absorb the salary. This player also replaces the veteran on the roster. Profit number 3, the retained sale. They let that player rebuild their value for a year, retain 50% of their salary in the 26-27 season, and then flip them to a contender for yet another return. It's a win-win, and to make it work, the Canucks need 3 specific things. An overplayed player who expires in 2027 and who still has just enough hockey left in them to be a desirable rental next year. It sounds like a tall order, but we've found 10 perfect candidates for the Vancouver Canucks. Let's dive into the list, starting with the biggest cap hit. So in this group, we have veterans and leadership, something that the Canucks sorely lack, at least the leadership part. Number 1 we have is Brendan Gallagher from the Montreal Canadiens. He has a $6.5 million cap hit, which expires in 2027. He has 16 points in 56 games this season. Imagine the homecoming. Gallagher's numbers have tanked, but his leadership and truculence still make an impact. He's a short-term fire starter for youth and plays the exact game that makes him a highly attractive retained playoff rental. In 2027, if we move Garland, this is a sensible replacement. Now, granted, I'm actually a big fan of Gallagher. I remember him fondly from his Vancouver Giant days. I absolutely loved him. You could say the same thing about Evander Kane when he played for the Giants, but I liked Gallagher a little bit more. He kind of actually reminds me a lot about Garland. So that comparison, if they moved Garland and we're looking for a sensible replacement, granted someone who's a little bit older, that would definitely be Brendan Gallagher. Number 2, we have Alex Killorn of the Anaheim Ducks, who has a $6.25 million cap hit, which expires in 2027, and he has 17 points in 55 games this season. The cup-winning pedigree is key here. Killorn is in the way of Anaheim's own young players. His scoring pace is the lowest of his career, but his leadership and playoff experience are what you sell next year after a year of mentorship in Vancouver. Number 3, we have Andre Palat, the newest member of the New York Islanders, at a $6 million cap hit, which expires in 2027, 12 points in 55 games. Palat has already been dumped once by the Devils, and it cost them a 3rd and a 6th round pick. The Islanders might be equally desperate to move this cap space. Like Killorn, his Lightning Cup winning experience keeps his rental value alive for 2027, provided the Canucks retain salary. Let's take a look at group number 2, which is more center depth and defensive chops. Number 4, we have Philip Danault of the Montreal Canadiens, a $5.5 million cap hit, which expires in 2027, 8 points in 20 games. I believe that is with the Montreal Canadiens, not the entirety of the season. Correct me if I'm wrong on that in the comments down below. The Habs paid a second rounder for Danault this year, but with those numbers, there's no way they get that back. They might need to pay to remove him. Danault still has strong defensive chops. He can eat minutes as a center for the Canucks without moving the contention needle, making him ideal depth for a playoff team next year, a lose-lose for the Habs, and a win-win for us. Number 5, we have Ryan Strome of the Anaheim Ducks, a $5 million cap hit, 8 points in 32 games. Strome is very Killorn-light, but his value is that he plays center. He's a little cheaper and having an even worse year, but he can provide temporary positional flexibility, and Anaheim is likely desperate to move one or both of these veterans, and the Canucks should be the team profiting from this shuffle. Group number 3, these are the low-stakes role players. Number 6, we have Jordan Greenway of the Buffalo Sabres with a $4 million cap hit and 5 points in 33 games. The Canucks liked him a few years ago, and maybe that's the angle to sell him on in a year. Right now, he's barely hanging on. Buffalo might move him just for roster space. He could provide physicality and toughness for a year, something the Canucks sorely lack. Act as an enforcer late on the young roster, and then be a half-retained fourth-line rental for a contender. Number 7, we have Andrew Mangiapane of the Edmonton Oilers with a $3.6 million cap hit and 12 points in 47 games. You won't find a team more desperate to cut cap than the Edmonton Oilers. The potential to get them to pay up is high. He's not too far removed from that 35-goal season in 2021-2022, so he still has some value. A year in a top 6 role in Vancouver could rebuild his trade stock entirely. Number 8, we have Warren Foegele of the Los Angeles Kings with a $3.5 million cap hit and 8 points in 43 games. A veteran, middle 6 role player who has completely fallen off a cliff this season. He's a well-known name that will still draw interest around the league. Another low-stakes opportunity for the Canucks to simply play middleman and get a pick for their trouble. Number 9, we have Stefan Noesen of the New Jersey Devils, a $2.75 million cap hit with 7 points in 38 games. He came up in the Hughes to the Devils discussion. Noesen is still a fine agitator who can chip in timely offense and is always involved in the scrums. This sort of player is always in demand come playoff time, and at that cap hit, he's an easy flip. And lastly, we have Garnet Hathaway of the Philadelphia Flyers with a $2.4 million cap hit, 2 points in 46 games. The most cost-effective of the bunch, Hathaway is a definitive fourth-line banger. He doesn't score, but if the Canucks want to be tougher, let's be real, Canuck fans, this team needs to get tougher. While they're in the basement, accepting this short-term cap dump has a twofold benefit: toughness now and a late-round pick later. Remember, this is all about accumulating draft capital. The narrative right now is that the Canucks are handcuffed by limited assets, but this is how they break those cuffs. The ideal move here is one of the big 3, Gallagher, Killorn, or Palat, but Danault and Mangiapane represent the best blend of positional or scoring upside, at least in my opinion. If the Canucks can execute just a few of these moves before the deadline or in the offseason, they instantly replenish the prospect pool, add temporary veterans for the locker room, and secure future trade assets. It's an easy, low-risk way to accelerate this rebuild. Let me know in the comments down below, which of these players do you think is the perfect flippable cap dump for the Vancouver Canucks, and what is the maximum price Alvin should demand to take on the salary? I'd like to thank my main and primary sponsor, none other than DraftKings Sportsbook, which is an official sports betting partner of the NHL, as well as the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook that's built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. Anything can happen during the Super Bowl, and DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash when your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. While other sportsbooks don't offer injury protection. DraftKings covers the entire first half, even the second quarter. An early exit works on live bets too, pregame or in-game. DraftKings has you covered. Super Bowl 60, a rematch from Super Bowl 49 between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. Seahawks pass rush versus the Patriots offensive line. Seattle's front, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, Boy May look to pressure Pats QB Drake May, challenging a potentially weaker Patriots O-line. Are you new to DraftKings? New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. For Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass through May apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. Gassy Jack Art, maker of this amazing artwork you see right here in front of you, and you guys can check them out yourselves at gassyjackart.com. So once again, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Do you guys think the Canucks should go after these names and basically use them as flippable cap dump in order to, add to their prospect pool and get draft capital? This video has been a presentation of DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours, as well as the Hockey Podcast Network. Be sure to check out the network for your favorite podcast covering your favorite team at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com, the home of hockey podcasts, where it's every team, everywhere. Feel free to hit the like and subscribe button if you guys enjoyed this content. Also, if you want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content as well, also be sure to turn on your notifications so you don't miss a single video. Also, if you want to get some Line Change merchandise, we have our official store, thelineChangePodcast.threadless.com. Go ahead and check out our 1-year anniversary collection, which is available on our shop. And we actually have some sales going on when it comes to our 1-year anniversary collection. So go ahead and check that out. Also, if you want to have more in-depth conversations and discussions, such as like this one, join our official Discord. There's a link to it in the description down below. It's completely free to join. Also, if you want to interact and find us on social media, we're everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, even Blue Sky. Feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. Speaking of platforms, if you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. On Spotify, feel free to give us a follow, as well as rate and review us on either platform, which is, of course, greatly appreciated. And also, if you had a favorite episode that you just couldn't get enough of and want to listen to over and over again, you can download your favorite episode as well. That, too, also really helps out the podcast. And, of course, we are greatly appreciative of that as well. So, once again, drop your comments down below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next Line Change.